G'day everyone and welcome to the TPL. It is TPL action at Wodonga, the Wodonga Classic. 32 of the best bowlers from around Australia have gathered at Wodonga for the very first TPL event. Let's have a listen to the CEO of Tenpin Bowling Australia, Rowan O'Neill, to explain a bit more.
So this is the big first event of the TPL. What's expected here today?
Yeah, look, I think it's been the first event, really. We're just excited to be here, and I think what we'll see is some of Australia's best talent on the lanes bowling against each other, which will be thrilling to watch both here and at home.
And what's next for this competition? What can people expect to happen next?
Yeah, so I think once we're at Wodonga here, which the Victorian Government have given us great support to bring the event to Wodonga, we head up north to Queensland, to Sun City, for the showdown up there, so that's TPL2. And then we're back down to Melbourne, to Keon Park, to Wind City Keon Park, which again is supported by the Victorian Government, which is really great.
So tell us why this sort of event is important for bowling in Australia.
Look, it's important, Claire, for a couple of reasons, I think. Firstly, like the athletes to be able to really showcase their skill. I mean, they are absolutely outstanding at what they do, and I think we, as a sport, need to showcase that to more people. And then the second part is getting more people understanding and appreciating the sport of Tenpin bowling. Like, you know, over 2.5 million people in Australia bowl every year. So there's so many people that love the sport, love the recreation, and we just want to bring it into their homes and to be able to appreciate the talent that there is.
There's such a diverse range of players here, from 16 all the way to 60. What sort of platform does this sort of competition provide for those players?
Yeah, it's a really good point. We've got, as young as 16-year-olds like, Blake Walsh, Emily Hart, right through to some of our older competitors. Tenpin bowling is so inclusive. I mean, intergenerational, any ability you can be involved in it. And I think everyone's been into a bowling centre, so we're really just pleased that there's a pathway for anyone, whether you're a junior athlete coming through or whether you're an older athlete that's still bowling, you could be here at the TPL.
Okay, it's time to introduce our preliminary finalists. In the first game, King of the North, Jared Langford, goes up against Sam Cooley. He knows what he needs to do. He's a champion in the world of bowling, Sam Cooley. They know where they're at. Can he pick up the spare? He does. Easy job for Sam Cooley. Jared Langford, the King of the North, they call him. He's a powerful left-handed bowler and sends that one down. First ball, first game on the approach. Second frame. Can it be two in a row? It is! It is a powerful statement from Jared Langford. We're about to find out. Spare in the first frame for Sam Cooley. Second frame, the roll. In it comes.
Well and truly. Now, knowing that Jared has a double going into the third frame, and every pin that he gets with his first ball of his next shot is going to count back to the first frame.
Sam Cooley picks up the spare. Sam Cooley would be hoping to get a strike here. Well, no, these guys don't hope. They know what they want to do.
They set out. They do everything they need to do in order to get the strike. They don't hope. They don't pray.
Sam Cooley sends it down. Is it a strike? It is not. Jared Langford just needs to keep delivering. Does he pick it up? He does. Another 9 spare. But first, we need to finish this. Jared Langford, how can he finish it? 9. Pick up.
Similar in the reverse, being a left-hander, that was very similar to Sam's shots.
Has a 9. Can he pick up the spare to keep the closed record going in this match? He does.
Yeah, nice spare by Jared.
A 9 or a strike is the preferable result, and there it goes. Gets the 9.
Okay, could be interesting what Sam can do here, following up.
Jared Langford looking for the spare, sends it down and picks it up. It's exactly what he needed. And give himself every opportunity. First roll in the fourth frame, and there it is. There's one. There is one.
Fantastic. first strike is there. He did what he needed to do. That's Sam Cooley at his best.
The concentration, the focus, the delivery, and an 8 is all he could bring up. Has an 8. Gets the spare. And let's see what he can give us as a final ball. Sam Cooley came all the way back from the States, arrived yesterday, landed in Sydney, drove straight down to Wodonga, a 4-hour drive to be a part of this TPL Wodonga Classic. He doesn't want it to end. We don't want to see him go, and he's given himself every chance of staying in it. He gets the strike. Wow. Because it is right up at the moment. Jared Langford, what can you do, son? Oh, nearly an 8. Turned out to a 9. Whoa.
That was tight. If he had have split there, it could have changed the whole vibe of things.
For Jared Langford, a spare, he's through to the final. Leaves it open, and Sam Cooley takes that first position. There's the roll. It looks good. It is. Jared Langford gets himself into the final by a matter of millimetres. That ball was on the precipice.
Matter of millimetres. That was so close. I actually thought that was going over the edge. That was so close. But
wow.
I think Jared was well and truly confident with that.
Oh, right there. Gee whiz. Oh, how that didn't go into the gutter is beyond us. Perfect ball.
He needs to stay on the lanes with this shot to carry some pins to get the win.
And here it is. Through a strike. How else would you finish, Jared Langford? Exactly the same way as you started. A strike at the start and a strike at the end.
And the thing I like to see is both bowlers smiling and greeting each other at the end. The teammanship there was fantastic.
What a victory for Jared Langford. And now moving on to our second preliminary final, Beck Whiting goes up against Grace Fay.
Going to be a match and a half, Grace Fay versus Beck Whiting, and the winner will be going through to the final. The loser is out.
It is Grace Fay, an up-and-coming under-21 star, sends her first roll down, and it is a nice one. Our first TPL final coming up shortly. Got a bit of bowling before that, though, and a nice pick-up of the spare there for Grace Fay. Opens her account. Seriously, the most closest ball I've ever seen not go into the gutter, that one of Jared Langford's. Beck Whiting up. First ball for her is a 7. And a tough spare to pick up for Beck Whiting.
That's a split. That is not what Beck was after, and it's going to be very difficult to recover from in this frame. Knowing that, she will still just soldier on and take what she can get and move on to the next frame.
Beck Whiting looking to get 2 pins at least. She does. So opens her account in this preliminary final with a 9, scoring 107 in his 5 frames. In the last preliminary final, Beck Whiting sends it down. Looks good. Gets the 8 though. Just
her mind is there.
Beck Whiting looking to pick up the spare. And there it is. We're in an interesting situation. Beck Whiting. A 7-2 in the first frame and an 8 spare in the second. Grace Fay with a spare in her first frame. How does she back it up with a lovely looking ball? So what does she do? She'll go for the 2. That's where... So Grace Fay moves into the third frame. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be, but that was a good looking ball out of the hand from Grace first up, and then it just didn't seem to do what it was meant to do at the end.
Correct, and that's what's been happening with all of the athletes across. Just unpredictability, I suppose, is what's happening out there.
Grace Fay with a comeback strike. That is the way to put a bit of a stamp on things and say, I'm not going anywhere. This is up to you, Beck, to beat me. Beck Whiting, what can she do? She sits on a spare in the second frame, starts her third with an 8.
And that was a little bit left to the headpin there, but fantastic shot by Grace Fay. She came back from that mishap and said, I'm here to play. And that was what she did.
27-26 at the bottom of the second. We're into the third. And Beck Whiting now needing to close this off. She's up against the strike in this third frame, and she picks it up. So the spare keeps her right in it. For the fourth frame of this 5-frame preliminary final. Sends it down. Good looking ball. Got the pocket. Didn't get the 10 though.
Interesting, yeah, she's fighting hard, Beck Whiting here. You can tell that she's up against it. She's struggling with what's going on out the lanes, but she's not giving up. Sign of a true champion.
What she's done though is she's put herself in a nice position. She picks up a spare here. I'll explain where she's at. There's the spare. So she's 46 after 3. And if Grace doesn't get a strike and only picks up a spare in this 4th frame, she will be 46 after 3. Scores will be level, both on spares. It comes down to the 5th. She had that similar ball in the 1st frame, only gave her 9. 4th frame, sends it down and picks up 9.
Very interesting there. She crossed to the left-hand side of the head pin for that one. And Brooklyn could have very easily carried 10 and it would have been a double. But the 9, as you said, goes to the strike. If she spares it up, scores will be tied.
TPL Wodonga Classic. Grace Fay for the spare. Yep.
Beck Whiting is sitting back there watching every shot.
Grace Fay, first ball of the 5th frame. Down it goes. It is a beauty. You little ripper, Grace Fay. That is the way to put pressure on your opponent. Hit a strike first up. That first ball from Grace Fay is amazing. How's the second? It is just as good. It is a perfect roll from Grace Fay. 2 strikes from 3 balls in the 5th frame. And she just had that little wry smile as she looked over her shoulder and said, "Oh, lady, it's up to you."
She's saying, "Tony, I know you're talking about me right now," and that is just Grace to a T. And she's going for the 3rd shot in the final frame.
How good is this? One of our great youngsters, Grace Fay, sends down the 3rd roll of the 5th frame, and my goodness gracious me.
Can win with 3 strikes.
3 strikes, the door is open. Beck Whiting first, she needs a strike. Does she get it? She is a champion! That is what champions do right there. They say, if you've served me up these cards, this is what I'm playing. Throw out your reality TV. This is where reality is right at. And the reality for Beck Whiting is she doesn't go through to the final. Sam Cooley lost the first preliminary final. And Beck Whiting, with a strike spare, finishes at 86 and goes down by 9 pins.
And welcome our TPL Wodonga Classic finalists, Jared Langford and Grace Fay.
257, his highest score up until today. That doesn't matter though. They were 10 frame games. This is a 5 frame final. And Jared Langford with his first roll of the night. Bang, leaves a tough split.
Whoa, that is not nice.
Nope.
To be slapped in the face with that on your first ball, that is not nice. Jared realises what's happened there. He's trying to maintain composure and knows he has to just pretty much take the 2 pins and hope for the best in the next 4 frames.
Yeah, all right, let's wait and see. It was a strike in the 1st frame of the 1st game for Jared Langford, a strike in the 1st frame of the 2nd game for Jared Langford, and he leaves himself an 8 in the 1st frame in the final. And Grace Fay knows what she has to do. She finished off her preliminary final with 2 strikes and a 9. Sends it down. How does she start the final? With a strike! How else would you want to start?
Fantastic Grace. Brilliant ball. Slammed it in the pocket, said, "I'm here to play." And puts a strike on the board, giving her the advantage. Obviously with Jared's open frame, puts him a little bit behind the pace. Grace stepping up for a 2nd frame, 2nd go.
Goodness gracious me. Grace Fay, she knows how to turn up the thumbtacks on the opponent. She knows what she's doing. Can she continue the pressure? 1st frame strike. 2nd frame is an 8.
Well and truly. More recently, she's been stepping up and bowling a lot of the adult tournaments, which is good to see.
2nd ball for Grace Fay. 2nd frame, leaves it open. Wow.
Unfortunately, yep, that's not what Grace wanted. It probably leaves a little bit more of a door open for Jared to come back here, see whether he can come back strong with the strike.
That was an interesting movement of the head there from Jared. He's looked down the lane, he thought, "You're just starting to win me over a little bit here." He's not 100% confident with this lane and his ball delivery. There it is. What has he got? 7.
Certainly not as much in control of the ball in the reaction to what he normally is. Normally he's even very much in control. Not quite sure of what the ball's doing and what it's meant to be doing.
No, and he looks confused. He's not. You see that little shake of the head. He's just thinking, oh, "What am I going to do here? What am I going to do?" Focus now, Jared. That's what you need to do. Pick up the 3, take the spare, and run into the 3rd frame. He doesn't though. Picks up the bottom 2, and that is a tough start for Jared Langford.
Very interesting. We've got 2 opens here going into the 3rd.
The only saving grace is what saved Grace, and that's a strike.
Exactly. And I mean, Grace is not going to take a foot off the accelerator, and that's what Jared realises, that up against someone like Grace Fahey, she's not going to let up, so he has to step up.
3rd frame away. Sends that down for a 9. It was a nice looking ball though. Could have gone for a heavier ball.
Not so much heavier, different surface.
Surface,
so
okay.
I would say less surface, less reaction, so that it would hook less.
So desperately needs a spare here, Jared Langford, to stay in the final, and he picks it up. The door's not shut yet.
It's not over yet.
Down by 11 after 2. Grace Fahey, what can she do?
She'll be just thinking exactly what she has to deliver.
What can she deliver? As Grace Fahey sends down her ball in the 3rd frame, and that is an 8.
It's still a decent shot there, and she's not going to give up, but as you say, Jared needs to find something special here in the final 2 frames in order to catch Grace and to put himself back in front. Grace needs to spare this up and continue putting the pressure on Jared.
She does. She needs the spare. She's 11 up after 2. A spare here. Has them both on spares in the 3rd frame, and that keeps her advantage. An open frame here, and the tables may be turned. Grace Fahey sends it down.
And we have to understand that they are also bowling on a TV pair under lights and cameras and everything too, so there's a lot of external factors that...
Come on, Grace, give us a strike! Gives us a 9.
Very solid shot there, and it could have very easily been a strike there, and she's certainly not giving up, and she would be frustrated and annoyed and leaving the previous frame open, but it's certainly going to make for a close finish.
She remains in the hunt, but must spare this. If she leaves it open, Jared with the spare in the 3rd will just jump to the lead, one would think, and it could be over. This is a very important ball for Grace Fahey, as she sends it down to pick up the 10-pin, and she's missed it. That was sort of 8-pin bound.
Very unusual for Grace, yes, and she's quite annoyed. You can see that she's annoyed with that, but it certainly opened up the door here for Jared.
She rolls to 45 after 4.
Knowing Jared here, he's going to slam this one in, or do everything he can to slam this in for a strike.
Here he comes. Jared Langford knows what's needed. Can he deliver the killer blow? He does! He does! It was a second thought for that 7-pin as to whether it was going to go down.
Classic Jared Langford there, and he knows it. He saw a sniff, or got a sniff of blood, and he's gone in there for the kill, even to the soft falling 7-pin.
And you can see on the scorecard, 11 down after 2. That strike takes him 1 up after 3. And a massive advantage. Grace Fahey going into the 5th with an open frame. Jared goes into the 5th now with a strike to his name. Can he make it 2? Oh, you bet he can.
Well and truly, Jared Langford. This is what we know Jared can do. And give him a sniff, give him an opening, and he comes in for the kill. So it's going to make things very, very difficult. What he does with the next ball is crucial.
Jared Langford on a double, and it's taken him 3 frames to work it out, but he looks like that ball change in the 4th is exactly what he needed.
Well and truly.
A strike in the 4th, starts the 5th of the strike, second ball in the 5th is just as good. Folks, this is Jared Langford at his best.
And one more strike here coming up in the next ball will block Grace out. So he knows that. He has to do everything he can to give himself the best chance, knowing that Grace is not going to give up and she can certainly fire.
He's up by 22 now at the end of the fourth. This is a big finish. The crowd right behind him. Jared Langford to finish off the tournament with a strike. Oh, you little beauty. How good is that, folks?
Fantastic by Jared Langford, showing his class and showing what he's made of to come through with the victory. Grace knowing that she cannot win, but she'll be going out there to bowl her last few shots, and the crowd are behind her, egging her on for a strike.
Come on, Grace, give it to us. 10 pins down and away. Good girl, well done.
Fantastic, this is what Grace is, and she'll feed off the crowd, feed off the vibes. The pressure's been released.
Right off, yeah, exactly.
Pressure's been released, so she knows that she can't win, but nothing, and this is where the true game comes out.
Catch all the action and all the results on tenpinpremierleague.com. Grace Fay, second ball, fifth frame. It looks good as well, it is!
This is what Grace needed from the beginning, unfortunately, so fantastic, and this is what she's capable of. She is pure class.
Jared Langford getting right behind her. What a fantastic way to finish the tournament for this young lady. She won't win, Jared Langford has that in the bag, but she has won the hearts and the adulation of the crowd who will her on for a third and final strike. Take it home, baby. Well done, Grace Fay. Fantastic finish. And congratulations to Jared Langford, our first victor.
What a victory for Jared Langford. And now, let's hear from our finalists.
Congratulations on such a fantastic tournament. You must be pretty pleased with coming this far.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty chuffed because I really didn't expect it to even make it to day 2, so can't complain.
And in that last game, you finished off so well, and I think the crowd was getting right behind you right to the end. So I guess what was going through your mind, just give it a crack.
The pressure was off. It was just hurry up so Jared can have his moment.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, and congratulations on such a fantastic tournament. Congratulations, Jared. How are you feeling?
Awesome. There's no other words to describe it. Yeah.
You had a fantastic tournament. I mean, what was going through your mind in that last game? What did you want to really strive for?
Always strive to win. Whenever I come out and bowl, I always try and win. But just throw good shots. It's, as Beck said earlier, it's a tricky pattern. You've got to execute well, otherwise you don't score. So just execute the great shots.
And Grace is a tough competitor, so young, such a rising star in the league. I mean, how do you come up against someone like that, and what goes through your mind?
I bowled with her all day today. She bowled phenomenally. We both started out pretty poorly, but hey, we came back. We're here.
Well, congratulations. Well done. Thank you very much.
So Jared Langford takes out the first TPL event, the Wodonga Classic. Congratulations to you, Jared. We'll catch you in a few weeks' time in our second TPL event on the Sunshine Coast.